Hi everyone, welcome to the video that wraps up March. It's a very cloudy evening here, the perfect weather for me to wear this top. And before I even go any further, kindly subscribe to this channel. You will love it here. Now in today's tutorial, we are going to learn how to make a mock neck top. The sizing here is size small, but in the tutorial, you'll be able to learn how to get the proper measurements for yourself. The pattern is simple and the stitch that I'm using is also simple as well, beginner friendly. And without wasting any time, let's get into the tutorial and start with it. Bye, catch you over there. In today's tutorial, we are going to learn how to make a mock neck top. Before we start, these are the materials that you will need. I'll be using a chunky yarn and a 5.5mm hook. You will need a scissor, a needle, and a tape measure. We will start in this order. I will start with this, proceed to this yarn, and the next one will be the gray one. For you to get your measurement, wrap your tape measure around your bust. My bust is 34 inches. When I divide that into 2, it will give me 17 inches. And those are the panels that we will make. We will have 2 panels, the front and back, all measuring 17 inch. The stitch that I'm using is a slip stitch. It has a tendency of stretching. So when you are done wrapping the tape measure around your bust, place the tape measure on your side just the way how you see it on the screen. Another alternative is for you to make a chain and placing it on your side just like how I've used a tape measure on the screen. It will help you know what you will be working with. This mock neck top is not going to be very long. It will be able to cover my belly button, and that is what we are working with. If you want it longer than that, then you have to make the chain and extend it up to down your waist. I've already made my chain. I have 35 number of chains here. The 35th is going to be a returning chain. So for us to start row 1, you are going to go in the second stitch, pull up a loop and slip stitch like that. Go in the third one and slip stitch, okay, like that. You will repeat this up to the end of this chain. At the end of row 1, you should have 34 number of slip stitches. I'm going to meet you when I am done making my 34 number of slip stitches so that we can start working on row 2. I'm at the end of my row 1. I have 34 number of stitches here. To start row 2, chain 1, turn your work. The chain 1 doesn't count as a stitch, so you are going to insert your hook here in the back loop and make a slip stitch. For row 2, you will be making slip stitches only in the back loop like that. Continue to make slip stitches in the back loop up to the end of this chain. I'm going to meet you when I'm left with 1 stitch. Catch you. I'm left with 1 chain to complete row 2. So you are going to end row 2 by making a single crochet here and then make another single crochet. We are increasing. At the end of row 2, you should have 35 number of stitches, chain 1. We are increasing immediately. Turn your work. The chain 1 doesn't count as a stitch. Go in this first stitch here and slip stitch. At the end of row 3, you should have 35 number of stitches, start row 4, repeat this pattern up to until when you are left with 1 stitch. I'm going to meet you when I am left with 1 stitch at almost the end of row 4, so that we will complete that row and start row 5. I'm left with 1 stitch, which is almost at the end of row 4. In the end here, we are increasing again. Make 2 single crochets in the same space. So each time you're on an even number of rows, know that you will be increasing by 2 stitches. The uneven row is a returning row where you don't increase. So we are going to row 5. At the end of row 5, you will still maintain the same number of stitches, just like in row 4. Start row 6. When you're at the end of row 6, you will increase by 2 stitches. Know that in every even row, you are increasing by 2 stitches. We started the row 1. Row 1 we had 34 stitches. Row 2 we have 35. Row 3 we have 35. Row 4 we have 36. Row 5 we will have 36. Row 6 we will have 37. And in row 8 and in row 7 we will have 37 number of stitches. I will keep increasing this until it covers the side of my breast. If you're not switching yarn, you continue increasing until it covers the side of your breast. You need to ensure that your breast is fully covered on the side. But since I'll be switching yarn, I'll come back here when I've worked enough rows for me to switch on to my next yarn. Until then, catch you. I've worked 9 rows. I want to switch my yarn. In the 9th row, I have 38 number of stitches. So this is how I'll switch my yarn. I'll insert my hook in here. Grab this other yarn and slip, stitch. Okay? As simple as that. I'll chain 1, turn my work, get my scissor, cut out this yarn, put it aside, and start on this other yarn. Go in this first stitch and slip, stitch. The chain 1 doesn't count as a stitch, so this is already row 10 for me. At the end of row 10, I'm going to have 39 number of stitches. It will be an increase. I will continue to increase this until it covers fully the side of my breast, and meet you right here for us to start on the next part. We are switching yarn again. This is the end of row 15 for me, so I will do the same to switch yarn like that, and then I start row 16, turn my work, continue with row 16, and meet you right back here when I'm done crocheting the desired size that can cover the side of my breast fully. I am done increasing what can cover the side of my breast. Those were 19 rows for me, and at the end of row 19 I had 43 number of stitches. I started row 20 and I'm left with 1 stitch here. I've so far crocheted 42 stitches. In the last stitch here, which is the 43rd one, we are going to put an increase. This is 43. Okay, and then make 3 more single crochets inside here. 44, 45, and 46, like that. Okay, you can see how this covered the side of my breast on the screen. Now we are going to increase up to the collar up there, and we will do that by increasing with 3 chains. So to start row 21, chain 1 and slip stitch. The first chain doesn't count as a stitch, so at the end of this row you will have 46 number of stitches. I'll meet you when I'm at the end of row 22 to start on the next increase. I'm left with 1 stitch almost at the end of row 22, so put here 26 and then proceed to put 3 more single crochets in the same space. 1, 2, 3. Okay, chain 1, start row 23. We have 49 stitches here now. Row 23, you are going to maintain the 49 number of stitches. Start row 24. At the end of row 24, you should increase by 3 number of stitches. So 49, 50, 51, 52. So which means at the end of row 24, you will have 52 number of stitches. Row 25, you will have 52 number of stitches. Row 26, you will have 55 number of stitches. Row 27, you will have 55 number of stitches. We will increase this up to our collar where it touches our neckline. I'm going to continue with this pattern until I reach where my neckline is, and we meet right back here to start working on the next part in this tutorial. You should use a stitch marker to mark where, for those of us who are switching yarn, mark where you switch yarn from. We switch our yarn when we were at the end of row 9. So row 10 started with this shade of yarn. We ended and switched the next yarn at the end of row 19, and then row 20 started with the gray one. I've gone ahead to mark these points, and also you need to mark where we ended with our increases. In the beginning we were increasing by 1 stitch, that is we inserted 2 stitches in the same space. Now from row 20 we started to increase by 3 stitches in the same stitch. Mark where you ended in row 19 so that when we are going to start reducing the other part of this front panel, you will not forget where you started from. Catch you until when I have increased this up to where my collar is, and we proceed to the next part in this tutorial. I'm back. I have crocheted up to a point where it can touch my collar. It looks like as if it's curving, but at a later point I'm sure it's going to flatten out. So this is the picture of what we have been working on. This is just enough for my size because my chest is a little bit small, but you should keep extending this for until when it touches your neckline. For the next row we shall not be increasing. This is row 31, and at the end of row 31 I have 61 number of stitches. The next 4 rows we shall not increase but maintain the 61 number of stitches. So that is going to be row 32, 33, 34 and 35. In all these 4 rows, ensure that you have 61 number of stitches. I'm going to meet you when I'm at the end of those 4 rows, and then we start row 36 together. I crocheted the 4 rows that I needed. Now this is my 36th row. In 36 we are going to establish the mock neck. So you're going to make a chain that is not very long and not too short. because you want this to wrap around your neck like a turtleneck. So this is row 36. I already have 61 stitches here. 62, 63, 64, 65. I think 4 is enough. And then 66 is, which is going to be a returning chain. Now you slip stitch. We are now starting row 37. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, and continue slip stitching up to the end of this row. So in row 36 you will have 65 number of stitches, same for 37, 38, 39, 40, until when you can crochet this to wrap half of your neck. These are the 4 rows which we made from here up to this other side. Sorry. Sorry. So row 36 you have 65 number of stitches, same for 7, 8, 9, 40. Crochet that until it can wrap half of your neck. I'm going to continue crocheting up to that point. While you're here, kindly subscribe to my channel and click on the notification bell so that you'll be alerted of every new video that I post, which is mostly on Wednesdays. I am through with crocheting my mock neck. This wrapped half of my neck, and from here up to this point there are 71 rows. At the end of row 71 I still maintained 65 number of stitches. I went ahead to crochet row 72. In row 72 is when we are now going to crochet this other part. You need to crochet up to a point where you have 4 stitches left, and after that you chain 1, turn your work, and repeat row 72 for 73, like that. At the end of row 73 you are going to have 61 number of stitches. Start row 74, 75, 76, and 77. All these rows will have 61 number of stitches. We are making this part. After that I will meet you when we start working on the reduction. Here it will be a decrease. In the beginning we were increasing, but for the other part we will be decreasing. Catch you when I'm at the end of my 77th row, and then I start 78th row. Meet you when we are supposed to reduce. I completed to make my 6 rows, which is exactly like this side. This is my 78th row. Now we are going to start decreasing. We were increasing from row 20 up to here by 3 stitches. So we will be decreasing until when we have 46 stitches. This is already row 78. At the end of row 78 you should have 58 number of stitches. I'm already at a point where I will reduce. This is my 57th stitch. At the 58th stitch is where you will reduce. So insert your hook like that, pull up a loop, 1, 2. Okay, before you reduce you need to ensure that you have 3 stitches remaining, because this is the 78th row, it doesn't count. So you will insert your hook in the way I'm showing you, okay, and reduce by slip stitching through all. Chain 1. That's your first reduction. At the end of row 78, you will have 58 number of stitches. Chain 1, turn your work, insert your hook in the first stitch and slip stitch. Slip stitch up to the end of row 79. At the end of row 79, you will still have 58 number of stitches. When you are done with row 79, start row 80. Where is it? Start row 80, and I'm going to meet you when we will be reducing row 80. Okay, so continue with row 79, start row 80. At the end of row 80 is where we will reduce. Remember, in every row we shall be reducing by 3 stitches. I'm left with 4 stitches and on to the next reduction. This is supposed to be my last stitch, but we have to reduce these 3 stitches which you're seeing here. At the end of row 80, you will have 55 number of stitches, like that, and then slip stitch through all. Chain 1, turn your work. Row 81, you will still have 55 number of stitches. Row 82, you'll reduce again. At the end of row 82, you will have 52 number of stitches. Row 83, you will still have 52 number of stitches. Row 84, you will have 49 number of stitches. Okay, row 85, you still maintain the 49 number of stitches. Row 86, you will have 46 number of stitches, and that is where you end with the reduction. Row 87, you will still have 46 number of stitches. I will keep reducing until when I have 46 number of stitches, and then I will start the next row, which is going to be row 88, and meet you again when we start our second set of decrease. Until then, catch you, and I hope you're enjoying this tutorial. Row 88 is where I said we would meet. I'm almost at the end of it. This is where you make your very last deduction. At the end of this row, you are going to have 43 number of stitches. Chain 1, turn your work. Row 89, you are going to have 43 number of stitches. Start row 90. I'm going to meet you when we will also be decreasing again. We are done with decreasing 3 times. Then we will be proceeding to decrease this other side. I'll meet you when I'm almost at the end of my row 90. This is row 89. Start row 90 and we catch up there. I'm approaching to the end of row 90. This is where we will make the next reduction. Instead of reducing like we have been doing previously, you are going to reduce twice like that and slip through. Chain 1, turn your work. Row 91, you are going to maintain 42 number of stitches. Row 92, you will make a reduction, and at the end of row 92 you will have 41 number of stitches. Same for 93. Row 94, you are going to have 40 number of stitches. Same for row 96. Continue to reduce like that until when you are left with 34 stitches. For those of us who switch yarn, you will reduce and you need to mark where to switch the yarn. We switch yarn at the end of row 9 at the beginning of this tutorial, and then we switch yarn again at the end of row 15. So you need to calculate how many rows are in between 9 to 15. That is when you are going to switch your yarn on this side accordingly. I recap again. At the end of 91 you'll have 42 stitches. 92 you are going to have 41 stitches. 93 you will have 41 stitches. 94 you are going to have 40 stitches. 95 you will still have 40 stitches. You will reduce this until when you have 34 stitches left, and that is where you will stop. I will come back here when I'm done reducing and we wrap up this tutorial. I have completed to reduce until when I had 34 number of stitches. Now we are going to make a second panel that is uniform to this. I already made it. When you have the two panels together like this, we can now go ahead and attach the sides to each other. You can use a slip stitch or a needle to join your sides. It's entirely your choice. I will be using a slip stitch to join. This was when I switch yarn, so this definitely is going to be my inside part. But if you didn't switch any yarn, you can determine which side to wear, inside or out. Either way, this is also something that you can wear inside out, but because we switch yarn, we shall not be doing that. Now, I have determined the sides which I'm wearing outside. I will now go ahead to use a slip stitch to join my work. Okay. From here, chain 1, like that, slip stitch. Go in the back loop, go in the second stitch here and slip stitch. Third one and slip stitch. And slip stitch. This is how your slip stitching is going to look like. You will slip stitch this side up to this point. Proceed to join this other side too. I will meet you when we shall be joining this side to this other one. Catch you until then. I have completed joining the two sides. This is how it looks like on both sides, and this is also the inside view. I went ahead and joined this other side here using a needle. So I'm going to show you how to join the next one. You can still use a slip stitch to do this. It's entirely your choice. But I will use a needle to join this. like that. We're almost at the end of this tutorial, and I request that if you recreate this, tag me in your videos and photos on social media. You can always check the description box for my social media handles, like that. I'm almost coming to the end of this attachment, and I'll just go about joining this on the sides like that. Cut it out. This is how your mock neck top looks like. Now for the downer part, we are going to make a chain. I'm using a 4mm hook, so I'll just make a chain that is long, like this, and meet you right back here when I'm done. I've made a chain that is long enough, so I'm going to pull out my yarn and cut it out. Get my needle, insert the yarn inside there, get my top, and start in the middle of this. I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 20, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 30, 4, 6, 8, 39. So I'm going to do 18, 18, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 2, 4, 6, 8, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 2, 4, 6, 8. I'm going to do from here. So there are gonna be 5 rows in between. I will insert this under here, like that, and then go over these 2, come out from here, go over these 2 again and come out from here, go over these 2 and come out from here, go over these 2 again and come out from here. Okay, there are going to be 2 spaces in between, and then when you do that, you pull this. I obviously made too much and it's getting harder to pull, but it's okay. You can learn how to work around this, like that. This is just showing me that I should not over pile it on the needle, because at some point I'm going to have to figure out how to pull it out, isn't it? Like that. So we'll pass this and make sure I come out of a loop like that, and then I come out of a loop. You will repeat this all around. I'm going to do the same and meet you when I'm done with mine. Okay, proceed with this all around and we meet here. I have gone all around and this is where I am, and just like that you are done. You will tie this around and it will give you that cocoon shape. I obviously liked how this all turned out. So go about hiding the tail of this yarn. Okay, then this one here, and you just tie your top like that. Okay, tie it the way you want, tighter, loose, it's your choice. Otherwise, this is how your top looks like. And also from behind. With that, we have come to the end of this tutorial. Catch you again in my next tutorial. It was fun making this. Bye.